Hello everybody, this is Insanito speaking and welcome to another episode of Rambling About Stuff whilst playing Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction, where I, playing as an Amazon, try to survive for as long as possible on a hardcore difficulty. If this character dies, that's it, game over, and I won't be able to revive. I hope you guys are doing well. If you were asking about me, I'm doing well as well, thank you very much. However, I do suffer from sore throat a little bit and I do have a runny nose. So in case if you hear me sniffing a lot or basically if my voice slightly changed, that's probably why. This episode is going to be slightly longer because I wanted to have a logical conclusion, which I managed to do. You'll see what was happening. But basically the purpose of this episode is to show you guys how I have completed the third quest of Act 1, which is rescuing Deckard Cain from Tristram. For those who have already played this game, you are probably aware of what is happening, but to the newcomers I'm not going to spoil much, but I'm going to talk about it gradually when we get to that place, or when we actually start completing this quest, because right now what I am doing in this segment is just exploring this passage, trying to gather some loot which will be useful in the future, and possibly selling some unnecessary loot. Although at this point I started realizing that at this point it's going to be pointless selling loot, because I think I've gathered enough gold for now. And I just kept traveling back to town way too often, so it wasn't really worth it. But we shall see what happens next. So far, I'm doing pretty good. Me and Nabea, my assistant archer here, just keep slaying monsters.
I can't carry anymore.
But hopefully later on we shall be even more productive. I'll just start concentrating more on actually having a proper build for my character, because right now I'm just basically wearing whatever I can. Yeah, just basically doing some looting and exploring. Also, a quick heads up, you will notice a lot of cuts in this episode, mainly because of, again, just selling too much loot, and also just exploring the passage, and mostly I've just been wandering around without facing any monsters, which was quite boring. So I've cut a fair amount of footage. I think it was like, what, 20 minutes worth? Well, maybe not 20 minutes, I'm over exaggerating a bit, but like maybe 10 minutes or something. But I do remember when I was, well, I wouldn't really call it editing, but when I was just, cutting the footage, I do remember cutting a fair amount. So, yeah, so expect some cuts. But I do I don't know how to properly say this, but I am certain that this exploration was quite worth it, because I have gathered a decent amount of loot, and I have also, got some really nice weapons, and my assistant Abaya has gathered some nice stuff as well. But yeah, just basically having fun, you know. But at this moment, I'm not entirely sure what to talk about. Oh, I think this is the moment when I found the way to Dark Wood, which I'm going to enter later. Now my main objective was to find the second level of the underground passage, where I've got a decent amount of loot. And if you've heard it, I have forgotten to turn off the sound on my phone, which is really not cool. I need to do that all the time when I begin recording a commentary, just for future reference, so be careful with that. And also, as you saw, I did another cut when I was traveling in the passage. I now have found the second level of the underground passage, and I've just leveled up, which is pretty cool. And just going to explore this bit, and then after that I should go to Darkwood and actually start completing the third quest. Oh, and by the looks of it, I think I have just found a crossbow. I'm not entirely sure because the preview in the editing software is of a really low quality, so everything to me is like pixels. But I do see the general image, but I don't see the details, I'm afraid. Let's see, I think it was definitely a crossbow. So I'm just selling what I've got. Yes, it was a crossbow indeed, which is pretty cool. However, I wasn't able to use the crossbow because at this point I didn't have any bolts. But I am going to find some bolts later on, so it shouldn't be a big problem. This place is not so big anyways. It's comparing to the first level, it's like a relatively small chamber with a couple of chests and some cool bits. Yes, this is where I found bolts, I think. Yeah, that's I can barely read it, but yeah, this is where I throw arrows because I no longer need them. And I pick up my crossbow. I do need to double check if I can unsocket these gems because these gems are pretty cool. I just need to remind myself how to actually unsocket them. Need to Google it for real quick after I record the commentary for this episode. So yeah, I'm picking up the bolts. Yep, there we go. I actually got a better weapon now. Now, when I saw this footage for the first time, because this attempt for a commentary is not the first one, it's actually quite difficult to do commentary, just like trying to ramble about things. But anyways, I digress. When I was comparing like the speed and the damage I was causing, like with my bow and crossbow, I've noticed that the crossbow shoots at a bit lower speed. At first I thought it was much lower, but actually it's not so bad. But it is worth it considering the damage. The accuracy does suffer a little bit, but I just need to practice a little bit with the crossbows, because obviously some creatures can be quite fast, but so far I haven't noticed this problem a lot of times. I mean, obviously there were moments where I wasn't able to properly get the creature because it was just running left to right all the time, but mostly, like especially in these narrow corridors or hallways, it wasn't a big issue because like it was a direct hit most of the time. So yeah, I think by the looks of it I have explored this area, and that means that I can finally travel back to the level 1 of underground passage, leading towards Darkwood, and this is where we're going to begin completing the third quest. And I've just got myself a bear shield, which is pretty cool. Just increase my damage a little bit. And yep, here's another cut, and here we are in Darkwood. So this is the place where I need to gather a first quest item to complete the third quest, which is a scroll from the tree, from the Elder Tree. And at this point I'm just trying to find it, which is pretty good. So let's just see what we can find in these dark woods. From what I can remember, it was a pretty decent run in dark woods. Got some really nice stuff, and again just sold some decent loot. and just gathering some more bolts, because as you can see on the right side there's an um, uh, icon showing two bolts crossing each other. That means that I am running low on bolts. And it just turned red, which means that I don't have lots of bolts left. I'm not entirely sure whether I have actually gathered more bolts, or I've just decided to buy more bolts in the shop. And actually, yeah, I actually have bought some bolts um, uh, from an artisan, which is completely understandable, because I don't want to get rid of. I don't want to get rid of the opportunity to shoot the crossbow, because so far as you can see, it's doing a good job. And if I'm not mistaken, it's either here or I've already missed it. There was a cool moment when I just like shot randomly towards the darkness, and I've actually hit somebody. That was a really cool moment. Perhaps you've already seen this moment. If you did, do let me know in the comments and tell me exactly where you've seen it. That would be quite interesting to see, if you actually can find this moment. That's a little interaction between me and you guys. This place in Dark Woods, depending on how randomized it is, sometimes this place can look like a maze, and it's a very interesting place. You can just like travel around these like this miniature maze. Oh, not miniature. That's the wrong word. What I meant to say, like this small part of a maze, and you can actually like defeat monsters whilst walking around. But this place is like not really a maze. It's more like just like barricades, or it used to be like a barn or something. I'm not sure. But it's still like it's still a really interesting touch to the map. Like doesn't make the map look very empty, which is a nice touch. Again, like I'm sorry for repeating the words, but that's a really nice touch. And as you can see, I still have lots of potions, but what I'm trying to do now is try not to pick up the minor potions, because they are quite useless to me now. So I'm just gathering at least light potions, so light healing potions or light mana potions, which do help definitely. And here are the beasts. I'm not sure what buff does this monster have. I don't really see it well. And also I was thinking, what will happen to Abaya when she dies? And actually, I've just remembered. Before filming this episode, when I was playing the standard version of Diablo 2, my companions, when they die, I wasn't able to resurrect them. However, with Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction, I'm not entirely sure if there is a possibility to actually resurrect the fallen companions, or maybe if it's like a hardcore mode, they die for good as well as you. So that's what I need to witness, and I'm not entirely sure whether or not I will have this opportunity. Okay, so yeah, I'm just still gathering loot, and I'm just trying to remember the moment when I actually decided to not gather this kind of loot anymore. And this, by the way, this is the place where we needed to find the scroll, and I found the tree finally, meaning that I can actually just continue completing this quest. And I'm not cutting this bit because this is a quest related event. So what I'm doing is I'm grabbing the scroll and I'm going towards Akara in Rogue Encampment, and that means that I need to teleport back to town again, and I need to speak to Akara, and she will basically translate the scroll for me. And what will happen next, you will find out in a minute. So I've decided not to travel back to Darkwood. Instead, I'm going to Stony Fields using the waypoint, and thankfully the waypoint is right next to those stones, and this is what the scroll looks like after Akara translates it. So that means I need to activate the stones according to this order. So here goes the first one in now, then the second one, and the third one, the fourth one, and the fifth one. And here goes the portal to Tristram. There it is. Alright, welcome to Tristram. This is the place where we're going to fight Deckard Cain, as well as a very important item which you need to gather. I'll show to you what it is exactly. The old players already know what it is. The newcomers I will explain when we'll get that item. Alright, so this place is relatively spooky because, you know, it's a burnt town. This is where the story of Diablo 2 begins. This is where the Dark Companion has burned the entire tavern because he has Diablo in him and all that jazz. It looks quite sad, you know. Lots of innocent people have died, but they have been trying to fight against these demons, but they were unsuccessful, as you can see. I don't think there were any survivors apart from that one and the companion. So I mean the Wanderer, I think he was called. Yeah, so just defeating those minions and the shamans who just keep resurrecting the minions. And I think this is the place where I have found this important bit. Yeah, here it is. So, this item I just picked up, it's called Word's Leg. And this item is very important because when you complete this game on normal mode, you will be able to use this Word's Leg as a portal towards a very mysterious place. What place is this? I'm not going to tell you straight away, but I'm gonna tell you this place is going to be very exciting. And if I'm going to survive, like for long enough, and after I will defeat Bale and in Act 5, and when I will be able to complete the game in normal mode, when I get to Nightmare mode, I will be able to activate this portal, and it's going to be quite fun. Those who have already played this game, do not spoil the fun for the newcomers. Although if the newcomers decide to Google it already, well, it's your choice. But I would suggest you to keep the anticipation, keep the intrigue, just for you to basically get entertained. I've got another rare item which is not really useful to me, so I'm just going to sell it. And I'm just defeating the remaining monsters beyond the Burn Tavern, and after that I'm going to rescue Deckard Cain. Not really sure what to talk about, other than to say that life is going great. Just enjoying myself, doing hobbies, playing hobbies, if that's the correct phrase. No, it's not. I forgot how to English for a second, I do apologize. Just basically enjoying what I'm doing in my spare time, also working really hard. Just been experiencing some significant changes at work. you know, because it's quite personal. Well, not personal, because it's quite confidential. I'm not going to talk about it. But all I'm saying is that it's going to be pretty exciting. Also playing guitar, playing Dungeons and Dragons. We're going to have a next session this coming Saturday, which is going to be nice. And going to socialize a lot this coming Friday. So it's going to be interesting. And yeah, just also considering following a healthy lifestyle after I'm getting paid. So there's going to be a lot of changes in my life, and it's gonna be interesting. And also, I'm gonna start saving money on for getting a new PC, so I can play more games. Maybe consider, well, not streaming, but maybe something similar. And there we go. We have just rescued Deckard Cain. And just checking if there's anything that we've missed. It doesn't look like we've missed a lot though, but
I can't carry anymore.
I'm just checking. Yeah, probably not. So I think at this point I'm just gonna do some minor bits regarding the quest. Gotta talk to some NPCs, gonna speak to Deckard Cain, and as a sign of gratitude for saving him, he can basically identify the unidentified items for free, which is pretty cool. And yeah, those cows are explosives, which is pretty weird, but you know, it's just some unexplained magic and all that jazz. But yeah, this was the third quest. Just quickly patrolling around Tristram just to see if I've missed anything, but it's quite unlikely that I've missed something. Maybe just like some corpses I've missed, but they haven't brought so much. And I'm just going to wait until there's something else coming up. I should have actually cut this bit, but I don't know why I didn't. Probably there's something interesting. Ah, okay, there we go. We're back in the rogue encampment. Here's Deckard Cain saying that, you know, he really appreciates me saving him, but unfortunately he doesn't know much about what is happening right now. And here's not Andariel. Here's Akara giving me a ring, which is quite useless. So yeah, I think this is the bit where this episode ends. So guys, once again, thank you very much for watching my videos. I really appreciate that. If you enjoy watching my videos, that's great. If not, I completely understand. If you want to see me improve, let me know what you want to see. But just support my channel any way you can if you want. Even upvoting the videos help. And yes, this is the end of the third quest. This has been Insanito, and I wish you a very pleasant day. Bye bye.